Here, here. Good morning, folks. All right. Once again, back into the fray. Um, Tell me how the video is actually. I'm working on something. I'm working on a lot of things. I'm back. I was had to make a supply run to Rockefeller World. I had to get some of my technology. I had to get some of my plants. I had to get a lot of things. Hang on, let me I'm doing a little bit of watering. I came back to see, okay, what plants made it, who got roots deep enough to survive out here, and who didn't. And I came back to a whole bunch of beans. My beans went crazy, boy. These beans love it out here. But hold on. No, but tell me about the video. If it's smooth. Ooh, okay, the watermelon made it. Well, the word made it means they survive not being watered out here for 2 weeks, which is a great thing. So, oh, no, I'm top treating with water some of the bigger ones, like this tomato. I've been eating from this tomato since I got back. I don't know what kind of variety it is, but oh, is it delicious? It's got this little bitter bite. Oh, delicious tomato. And she loves it dry too. Oh, look, a moringa. Moringa. A little moringa. I don't know if I show you. Y'all are early. I'll show you. All the later people can see it. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, goodness. I thought he was gone. So look at that. The grass above him was like, we're in the desert. We're supposed to be in Pennsylvania. That weed I've been fighting with. I don't know if it's crabgrass or what it is, but it accidentally made it on the first trip. There were some that made it on this trip too. They're like, they thought they were going to choke my plants out, and they're like, "Oh my God, where's the rain? Oh, this is not Pennsylvania." Yeah, I love weeds. They got a job to do, and actually, right there, they did that job. They covered up that moringa. They gave it a chance to put its roots down, and now the moringa's jumping out of the earth. Now that I'm back, and the weed is dying back, which is okay. I mean, it's a grass weed; it'll come back. All right, now I want to know if the video is smoother than usual, only because it's the first of the month. And just like welfare on satellite, the first of the month is happy. You get excited, get them checks. Well, you get more bandwidth early in the month. So the first of the month, I should have more bandwidth. I see myself flowing, but I bet you it's stopped framing. So I'm gonna walk over to the cell area in a minute. I want to talk about Rockefeller World. Now I'm back. Made a supply run through zombies. Zombie land, Rockefeller plantation. Forgot a lot of things about that world that I don't miss at all. All right, hang on. Let me make sure I'm ready to go. I got to get Petunia, put Petunia in her case though. I had to take Petunia out of her case because when you come back, the animals got a way of taking over. Like, oh, you don't live here no more. You going home, Negro? Huh? You tired? We got you, huh? You can't live out here. They'll take the land back. So actually had to have Petunia out. Not only that, but apparently they're encouraging people to come to the border. So, and desperate people do desperate things, and you got to protect yourself. So, and while I've never had anybody cross the border come back here, you have to be wise when it comes. I need a belt. Hold on. You got to be wise when it comes to stuff like that. Desperate people do desperate things. And because you protect yourself from those people, you're kind of protecting them the same way you're protecting yourself and your things. It's kind of like animals. There you go. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to take a belt. I'm not even going to put on my boots because I got to do a scorpion check on them. I haven't done it yet. Make sure I got everything. I got this. No. So if you can get hungry people to wait, you can feed them. You can give them water. You can get them to wait. If they're a mob and they think they can take what you got because they think that you may not give it to them because most people don't give things to people anymore, then they're going to rush you and they're going to take what you got. Good example of that is when we fake like we're helping Africa and we send food. The people run up to the kids and everybody run up to the truck to get the food. Now, mind you, we're really just sending resources for the terrorists, the warlords, so they'll keep that country in a destabilized condition, the same way we do in Latin America, the same way Jive Bowden just did when he left them trillions of weapons on purpose. Because when you get a bad guy's weapons, it scares good people, regular people. When it scares them, then they'll beg for more military. They'll beg for U.S. bases and presence and everything. And that's how that scam works. And so it's not unrelated to Haitians and the border and me and, Mexico and all that great stuff where, no, I walk around armed all the time for their protection in mind. They don't know that, yeah, I'll give you a shirt off my back. I'll do anything I can for you. Unfortunately, as you walk away with a cup of water, I'm going to have to call Border Patrol because, that's how that works. One, you don't want to go to prison. Two, that actually is the right thing to do. And unfortunately, very ignorant, uneducated people who've never been to the border in their life like to talk about the border. So I don't want to have a border discussion. I don't talk about Rockefeller world because I'm back. I feel like I'm in a zombie apocalypse. Hold on, let me get something out Petunia. I got a mount for my phone, which will make things a lot easier. Truck is just full, packed to the rim. Oh my God, people, if y'all ever go through Rockefeller zombie country, if you get off the plantation, well, you're never off the plantation because they think they own the whole damn world. If you ever leave a safe place in the plantation, take a V8. Oh my gosh. This truck leave. Oh my God, Petunia, she ain't. Oh, this bay. Oh my goodness. I don't know how to speak on it. The only thing better than a V8 is probably a V12. The only thing better than that is probably a V20. But all I can tell you is a V8. If you go cross country, you got to run from some zombies. Listen, Harriet Tubman, I'm sure she had a V8. I'm sure that's history, right? And if not, I lie about it. They lie about all the rest of history, so I'll lie about it too. Harriet Tubman had a V8 when she crossed your states. Hold on. I got to put this in my bag so my hands are free. What was I saying? Yeah, no. I went through the plantation. I went through Pennsylvania plantation. Well, I stayed there for a little bit. Then I went to Maryland plantation, and then I went to Tennessee plantation. Well, I went through Tennessee plantation. I went to what other plantations did I go through? Virginia. Oh my gosh, Virginia! That plantation getting big. Y'all better have a whole lot of cotton for massa. And I think I did one more plant. Oh, Arkansas. That's right. Then I went through Arkansas plantation. All right, hold on. There we go. Got them out. Got my phone. Got my coffee. Let's head to the place to see if the signal is better because I suspect the video wasn't much better. And you got to move. You got to move. All right. You listen. Harry knew when you got to step it up. You can't be going at slave pace trying to get through Slave Town. So I came out of Rockefellerian world. I was moving because it's weird. I can't be around weird. I'm sorry. I love weird people, but I can't be around them. When y'all wear this, a good friend of mine gave me an example. I actually have a condition where I can't be around people with things on their face, right? I was one of those babies that needed to see your whole face. And if I don't see your whole face, I get antsy. I get anxious. Like I hated being I couldn't stand it. I didn't feel right. I felt like I wanted to slap everybody. But I get all right. Ooh, the screen went black. No, so I get anxiety. I didn't like being out there at all. I've realized, yo, I'm a wild creature. I don't know if y'all noticed. I think I've been spending enough time out here. I'm actually starting to discover myself. What's my cell signal? 4. Okay, good. And myself is not there anymore. I think there's that book. Y'all ever read that book, Pigs Don't Know Pigs Stink? If you're in Rockefeller world, y'all stink. Y'all stink. I know you think I stink out here. Y'all stink. The difference is, oh, I miss my echo. Oh, it's echoing in the hills. I love that. The rattlesnakes don't like it, but I like it. Y'all stink. Rockefellerian stink. I mean, out here you get a different kind of stink. Don't get me wrong, but it's a human funk. It's a human stink. It's a musk, a sweaty. It's not really sweat though, and musk ain't the right word. It's not like an oniony thing. But you get the scent of a human again. You're putting off your natural pheromones and your hormones and all of that great stuff. But Rockefellerians, y'all stink. Y'all smell like a neutral chemical trying to smell like some roses scent. It's nasty. I don't know. I don't like it. That also gave me anxiety. I don't like being, oh, Rockefeller world. I hated it. I was not happy at all. I wasn't depressed, but I was not happy. And my friends, the ones who actually pay attention, they knew I wasn't here. They knew. They're like, yeah, no, we know Gerard's patterns. He ain't out there. That's how you know people love you. They actually give a damn enough to learn your patterns. That's how you know you got a real friend. Other people, no, that's not true. I'm not gonna say that, but it's good. It's humbling. Look at my mouth. Y'all check this out. Hang on. It's humbling that you actually have people that give a damn enough that they pay attention to you, and they know they're like, oh yeah, he ain't out there. Look at this, man. I'm in the desert with a phone mount. Hold on. Look at this. Hook this joker up right here. So now I can stop spilling coffee and green in the desert under this spot. I need to green the insides of my system with some caffeine in the morning. Oh, look at that. Bang. Look, hands-free. Oh, I can dance on camera. Oh, this is all right. I can do this. Pull my pants up. All right. No, but I'm back. I want to talk about Rockefeller world because I ain't around y'all no more. I don't miss it. I don't miss it at all. I know. I thought I would miss it. I did. I don't miss it. I hate it. I can't stand it. The only thing that I miss about Rockefeller world is the Rockefellerians I left behind. Right. And mind you, I'm still on Rockefeller plantation and I'm still a Rockefellerian. I'm just one that's a little in a safer part of the plantation. Massa can't see me as well. Massa can't get me as well. His whippers ain't coming to get me out here. Right. I don't live by his rules. I'm in a section of the plantation. They can't grow cotton. The bushes and trees is too big. The bush and the underbrush is too thick. Massa ain't coming out here. Is that Deanna Lou? She the one that told me this. And it's a perfect saying. Damn it. What did you say, woman? She said, you want to be, and I quote her like 3 times a week. You want to be so far out, and I'm going to change her quote a little bit. I'm going to repurpose it. You want to be so far out that somebody's got to ruin their day to ruin yours. Something to that effect. Repurpose it. Say you need to be so far out on the plantation that Massa Rockefeller and all the cronies that did what he did in crony world design, that's fake economics and artificial scarcity to keep everybody working. You want to be so far out that his whippers ain't got time to come get you. They got Rockefellerians that are closer to their shack because they live in shacks too. They'd rather whip the ones that's close. They're not going to get themselves hurt coming to get you. So I'm still on the plantation. You can't live off grid. There's no such thing. But you can decide that you want to live on a section of the plantation where Massa can't get you. Massa can't get me out here. You know, he can get my body. He can't get me. Out here, I can move. I'm free. I got some space. I got some elbow room. Massa, come out here. You're going to get an elbow or 2. But I didn't feel good at all, y'all. I didn't know. I don't know why. I'm thinking about it. But I can tell you this. The world is sick. The world is sick. Rockefeller world is sick. The cronyism, maybe it's the EMF, maybe it's the pollution in the air, the water. Maybe it's just being around people vibrating in that Rockefeller vibrational. Maybe it's identity and the negativity that puts off. I was thinking about history class this morning, where y'all know, I mean, my thoughts are school. It's just an indoctrination camp to take a child and turn it into a bastard. You want to turn the child into an identity. So they go into history. I mean, school in general, right? Because you're making workers for the plantation. You're making workers, those that love the things that money can buy and only the things that billionaires sell. You got to make the world, you got to make the next generation into these kind of a bastard. And that's what the school is, indoctrinate them by giving them identity stories in history class. You hear what I'm saying? School trains you to be an enslaved worker, right? To get a career or job working for billionaires and the families that help Rockefeller crony up the world. So you won't ever be free. You won't ever feel your life. You'll never know yourself. You'll be busy doing what they need you to do, not what you should be. You will waste your entire life trying to make money, something that they print, which is another thing I want to talk about. In history class, that's the clincher, right? That's what really gets you. And this is the part that I have with the ignorant adults that can't grasp the concept and the danger, the divisiveness and the devilry. And I need another D word. And deception. No, I need another D word. And deceit. And anything called identity. Oh, they're evil. Every last one of them. Every last group. All of them. Darkness. Another D word. And so they give you a story in history to invoke your emotion and tell you all the identity stories and then tell you which one you are. And then you'll spend the rest of your life in economic conflicts and physical conflicts at times with other people and other groups, other identities that you ain't never met. You don't ever know. You don't know nothing about them except for what they lied to you about in history. Y'all feel me? You hear what I'm saying? You picking up what I'm putting down? And that's the purpose of history class. That's why the goal was to never give you history, to give you his stories so you'll be an ignorant identity fighter. Good example. Good example. Loved one sent me a text message. 2:00 in the morning. I don't know why the hell they did that. I was tired as hell. I was rushing get the hell out of Rockefeller plantation where the whippers were. And I didn't sleep at all. I drove, I closed my eyes for 2 hours. I drove all damn night. I said, hell no. I put on me some Iron Maiden, put on me some Metallica, AC/DC, and some hip hop. And I was gone. I was, woo, that's all you heard. You tune this come see this little white thing coming over the hill. The cop was like, whoa, God, Lord Jesus. That was me. That was me. I was trying to get the hell out of Rockefeller areas of the plantation. I was rolling. Why I tell you I was rolling? I had to get back here. Oh, right. So I was asleep last night. I slept like a baby. I didn't hear the coyotes playing last night, but the owl showed up. And the owl came by and said, whoo, nigga, whoo, whoo, you're back. Oh, and we can talk about who too. Oh my gosh, did Big Tree get him? Did y'all watch the last one? The last high wire was the best high wire I've ever seen in my life. That's the best one. If you're gonna watch any of them, you gotta watch the last one. You don't know nothing about what's happening in the world till you understand who don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't do no testing. Oh, it blew my mind. Oh, I'm supposed to tell you something. All right, right. So remind me the things I gotta talk about. I wanted this one to be a quick one. I'm not sure that it will be. I'm not in a rush today. I'm not in a rush. I got so much to do. The wind and blew camp apart. Got pots and pans and things I got to fix and pull up, and one door blew off the hinges in the cob house. I got work to do today. I got a bunch of plants. I was putting the pond plants in this morning, taking care of the azolla, feeding the koi. They all made it. Most of the plants made. A lot of beans. I got beans today. I'll probably eat those for breakfast. So I got a lot of work to do, so I'm not rushing this, and I need to get this off my chest. Right. Loved one texted me last night. I was tired because I drove through the night, had to get the hell out of zombie country. Hurry up and get back to civilization. We had to get out of uncivilization to a human ecosystem, and because I had all that anxiety being around these people, making me trigger happy. Right, I got text. What I get text? Oh, that's my phone right there. I can't check my phone, people, because it's right there. Something about. Oh, right. So I told my loved ones to watch Dave Chappelle. Did y'all watch Dave Chappelle? in that slightly coherent live stream I did yesterday. It probably wasn't coherent at all because I was driving and screaming and had anxiety. I'm not even sure if it made any sense. But I told y'all to watch Dave Chappelle's last episode. Why? Because it ain't going to stay up long. They're going to rip that sucker right down. Mainly because the man is a genius and he's an artiste. An offense. He even offended me a little bit. He offends everybody. Old school comedy. Don't pull any punches. Tell people the truth so we can all laugh at the ignorances of all the silly identities we have and the ideas that we actually know something in a world where all the important some things are kept out of the mainstream media and hidden deep in Rockefellerian vaults. That's how the few stay in power. They keep us ignorant. That's how the UFOs fly and we think they're aliens. They're just people who don't want to share free energy with us and technology that allow people to stop slaving away in Rockefellerian world. The whole purpose of the plantation. Where does money come from? Ask that question to people. Answer that question. You know where money comes from? If you know who prints it, why they print it, and why they only print enough to keep the world in conflict with itself. The identities going after the identities. And economic conflicts that they think are peaceful. I'm a good person, love and light. I got a job. I make money, but I'm not hurting anybody. I've never killed anybody in my life. If you have a bank account, you're a murderer. You engage in murderous activity. We all are killers, every last one of us. I made a lot of money in my life, and it's all blood money. Just because I didn't pull the trigger, I didn't take out the machete, doesn't mean I didn't have a part of it. I'm a part of this crony Rockefellerian bullshizzle world that requires death and conflict by giving people identities and putting them in conflict with cousins they never met. So what did my loved one text me, which is, I'm gonna get to the point in about 8 hours, about the Chappelle show. He said, oh, all right. I got you, Gerard. I got you. He said, you don't like, you said, seeing how you don't believe racism exists. Did you laugh at the racist parts of Dave Chappelle's show? And so, of course, as I was woken up at 2 a.m. to look at this text message, I just went back to sleep. I'm not answering that. You didn't ask the question right because you lied about the things that I believe. That's number one. I went right back to sleep. To be woken up again at 4 a.m., 4:36 to be precise, by Mama. How you doing, baby? Mom, it's 4 a.m. I'm trying to sleep. I didn't sleep last night. I was driving through Rockefeller world in a hurry. I didn't sleep, Mama. I love you. I call you back when I'm awoke. You gotta talk to your mama like you got some sense. She has slapped the black off of me. I have no time. That's the only person that can hit me. That's the only one. I'm sorry. I know. That's the only one that can hit me. Ain't nobody else hitting me. You hit me, you gonna get a broken jaw back. You gonna get some hot lead or some broken eyes or something. And I ain't gonna shoot. I don't shoot to kill. I shoot you in your butt. That's it. I'm not a shoot to killer. I shoot you in your legs, kneecaps, take off a few toes or something, shoot you, get that pinky toe. No, I need to teach you a lesson. I'm not trying to kill nobody. I've killed enough people having a bank account. I don't want to kill nobody with hot lead. I shoot you in your butt though. The only woman that can hit me is my mama, and when I fall in love again, which probably ain't never gonna happen. This old ticker then listen. I told y'all women's crazy, right? They're crazy as hell in Rockefeller world. They all, every last one of them, because we made them crazy. We intentionally put them in conditions that made them all psychotic, and it's supposed to be. The good thing is a lot of them hide that psychopathy. They hide it well. You won't see it. Till you marry him and do something stupid like not sweep the kitchen after they told you 20 times. So, yeah, they're crazy as hell. And what was I saying? Oh, the broken heart. Yeah, no, I don't think my heart worked. I think it's done. I think it didn't went through too many Rockefellerian women that said, you know what? I need to rip your heart out your chest and chew on it and step on it and jump up and down on it till that heart doesn't ever work again. And it's effective. I think them destroying my heart safe and effective. I'm not sure this thing will ever fall in love with anybody again. Just a warning. That'll let you know. That mean I wouldn't ever get, Rockefellerian married again. No, I'd never get Rockefeller. If I ever get married again, I'm gonna go to a desert island somewhere and I'm gonna meet the Jabubu tribe, and I'm saying, hey, what's y'all's marrying method? Because we love each other. I had to get the word. I just don't know if the ticker works, y'all. It's been through too much. And we want to get married. What's your process? Where are the papers and forms at? I don't want to do the Rockefeller forms again. They're like, okay, all right, damn. So I got to jump over the fire. I got to put some mouse urine on my head from a mouse born during the Sunday moon. Okay, I can do that. Yeah, we got to be butt naked. We can do that too. All right, got to rub some mud on my balls, and you got to put some mud on her face. Okay, well, listen, if this is the ritual, let's get married on the Jabubu tribe's methods. I'll do that. But no, I'm not sure this heart thing works. Where was I go? Oh, no, it's the only women that can hit me. That's the only ones. No, the rest of them, you're going to get something back. Yeah, I don't know what you're going to get. Mostly a mouthful. I don't believe in hitting women. I never hit a woman. I never do that. Nope, never going to do it. Never done it, never will do it. I might shoot one in the pinky toe. I might do that. I don't know. Maybe. I had to think about it. Depends. How big is she? And does she know martial arts? Those are the key questions, because women who know listen, there's a lot of videos on YouTube and TikTok. Little girls the age of 7 beating the hell out of grown men. I don't want to be that man. You take off somebody's pinky toe, maybe they can't jump as high. Maybe when they smack you with the back of their foot, it doesn't echo. All right. So where am I going with this? Oh, yeah. So, right. So my mama, she smacked the black off of me. That's why I always talk to her with respect and love and kindness and concern. Even when she wakes me up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm tired because I just drove back across Rockefellerian world and 8 slave states called states, but they're actually slave plantations. And I got here, went to sleep. And the first person that texted me was a loved one, said, why? Did you laugh during the Dave Chappelle special when he was joking about racism? Saying how you don't believe in racism. And I went to sleep because I want to answer the question, because you're projecting things on me that aren't true. All right. So does anybody here believe that I don't believe in racism? That might be the first question. Should I judge you to Jeopardy? I would do the Jeopardy theme and sit here and wait for the questions, but I can't because it is going to take too long. So I think I replied to him, and I wish I could go to it, but if I try to go to it, I won't get to it. My reply was, I don't care about your isms. I don't. I don't care about your ists and your isms. They're not significant. They're side effects. They're not the problem. I've spent my life trying to fight side effects, and it was a waste of a life. I don't want to waste any more time on side effects. And everything, I want to know the root problem. In order to know the root problem, you got to dig down through the bullshizzle, the Rockefellerian bullshizzle they gave you in history class to make you an emotional snot bubble adult to join an identity group to fight another identity group. Because the people who lie to you about history and the people who print the money that make you slave away and work want to stay in power. I have no interest discussing ists or isms. I don't talk about racism or ists or isms because it's a waste of time. We have a real problem on a global scale. I'm not concerned what's happening in Tupelo, Mississippi. I love you, and I'm sorry, and I know there are people down there that don't like you, and there are people that you don't like. I get that. But that's not going to help us. That's not going to help anybody. If we help your little town and your little area, we all going to die. This whole world is in trouble. Did y'all hear that? Oh, that was me. Oh, never mind. Oh, I was getting serious for a minute. I heard an echo, and I was like, oh, my God. Oh, somebody out here. Click, click. Got to be prepared. That's me. I'm echoing. I hit that mountain and went to that one, came back, and it hit me this one because I'm running my mouth and I'm yelling. I'm getting emotional. Trying to explain something. I thought somebody was coming at me from the hills. Y'all was about to see young guns get down. So what was I saying? Right. No, I'm not interested in the side effects. Right. Don't tell me the side effects of a flu. I don't actually care. Well, you get snot bubbles and inflammation, and then you get hot in your head. And I don't want to know that because I know somebody's telling me that because they want to fight those things. They want to sell me snake oil to keep the snot from coming out my nose. I don't care about that, the side effect. I want to know the root problem. Well, why did I get the flu? I got the flu because I eat too many Twinkies. Okay, I eat too many donuts. I'm not eating human food. I'm not drinking enough water. I'm not exercising. I have a Rockefellerian slave position called a job and career that I'm proud of. So I butt spread all day and laugh at contractors who do physical labor. Oh, okay. So I got the flu because I'm not living a human life and I'm not eating human food. Got it. Done. Thank you. I don't need nothing. I don't need nothing to know about their miracle cures. I don't care nothing about the side effects. I don't care nothing about the treatments and the snot and all the side effects. I'm not interested in the discussions on side effects. I'm not trying to cure a side effect, an ism, an ist. Be on this team, fight that team, so the people who created all the problems stay in power. Not interested at all. Love you if that's your way. Continue to do that if that's what you need to do. I'm not here to judge anybody, right? But my life to me is too important to spend any more time dealing with side effects when we can solve the root problem and make all the side effects, not just the ones I'm concerned with, not just the ones affecting me, not just the ones affecting people that look like me, but the side effects of this crony world economically that created all the isms and the ists and putting cousins at war with each other, from Tupelo, Mississippi to Palestine. You hear what I'm saying? See, I'm not living a narcissistic life. I'm no longer narcissistically focused on my skin or my religion or my whatever identity I was given in history class, right? With all the other stories to keep me in conflict with other people, the lies. I'm not interested in lies to keep the economic conflicts, to keep the few in power. So anyway, I answered this text, something to the effect of, brother, I don't do the is, man. I'm not worried about the side effects. You'll never get me in the ism out there fighting about some isms. I don't have an issue with the police. I don't have an issue with the laws. I have an issue with the economics that created the need for police and laws. You hear what I'm saying? It's about wasting your time in side effects or understanding the root problem so you don't waste your time with side effects of the root problem. You can't come to a root solution that works for everybody if you don't know how the system afflicts everybody. You hear what I'm saying? Not everybody picks up that. Not everyone picks up what I'm putting down, but they go both. Bo, he understands what I'm putting down because he worked in the corporate environment and he understands the methodical methods they give us slaves in corporate America for solving problems so they can make profit. See, when we're solving their problems so they can make a whole lot of profit, we are methodical as hell. They will teach us to do root cause analysis, find the actual problem, and only spend resources on the problem that works for everything that'll bring in more money for the corporation. But people know that who work in methodical places of the billionaires. A lot of other folks don't know that. They're living these zombie-like lives as identities and conflicts with each other for the economics of the few, and they never discover their root self. And that's why I wasn't in depression in Rockefellerian world, but the last 2 weeks, I didn't know I was a tiger. That's what it was. Cat Williams had a skit called Tiger. Look it up. Do your research. The tiger, he's talking about the tigers in the zoo. Tiger's a wild creature. Right? Tiger rip your throat out and eat your guts before you even know it's coming. We're tigers, but you keep us in the zoo Rockefellerian world, we become tabby cats. No, that's not good enough. Tabby cats they're too violent. They're aggressive. They still got an attitude and they'll tell you about yourself. Why they're scratching you up. I don't know if I'm a tiger anymore, he goes. I'm not even sure. Am I a beast? Am I wild? I'm here for the entertainment of the few. I'm here so they can take pictures. Their babies can be posed in front of me. And really, I need to be ripping that baby's guts out and eating it. Because you have me enslaved. And that's what Rockefellerian world does. It makes you docile. It takes your love away. It takes your passion away. So you can serve for the few so they can have their love and their passion and their children can have passionate lives and know thyself, and you never will. So no, I didn't like being there for a lot of reasons. Out here, I'm becoming a tiger again. Living in the wilderness, living off-gridish. Rediscovering what fresh air is, rediscovering what it's like to be surrounded by mountains so you don't have EMF waves going through you. Having peace and quiet where I can think about root problems, root afflictions, not isms. Not having distractionary things called jobs and careers, power bills and water bills, contractors and building things so they can fall down, so they can rebuild things in the unsustainable world. I build things hopefully so that they'll last forever. Build a cob house. If I do it right, that cob house will be here in 2,000 years. So I hated being there. Didn't put me in a state of depression, but it made me sad for the sad creature I used to be. I'm like a lion that escaped. And I started realizing, wow, lion escaped out of New York City. What's the name of the Bronx Zoo? Got out the Bronx Zoo. Running around the Bronx, eating people. Yay, this is fun. Woo! I realize I'm a lion again. The lion catchers come and get me. And that ain't the case because you can't go around New York unless you got a freedom pass. The lion, he ain't eating. No, well, he's eating everybody that's a second-class citizen that can't dine in. They can only dine outside. So I was eating people that y'all think are second-class citizens that y'all made the new black people. The people that y'all was fighting systemic racism, but you're fighting for systemic healthism to make new black codes for the people who don't want to engage in synthetic outsourcing of the immune system. You people who don't like slavery, but you're okay with my enslavement further in an enslaving in society. As a lion free from the Bronx Zoo, I ate a bunch of those people. Kids too, babies going, oh, they're the delicious ones. They don't have a bunch of synthetic drugs in them yet. And they put me back in the zoo. And that's what it was like. Going through Tennessee and West Virginia and Pennsylvania, Maryland, slave plantations. Pigs don't know pig stink. So I answered the text message, which is now on hour 2 of explaining one text message that probably took him like 2 seconds. And it might have been a joke. Does racism exist? I'm pretty sure it does. I don't really care. That's not where I'm resonating. It's not my vibrational space as a spiritual creature. Does any ism exist? Okay, if any ism exists, then I need to get rid of all of them, not just the narcissistic ones that I don't like. But I need to get rid of all of them. That's my place. And I just asked them at the end of the text, it's a very short text. You know, I said, I didn't never say anything about racism existing or not. I just said it's not a priority to anybody who's thinking about real problems. Root problems, real root global and regional problems, not their own little personal problems or the personal problems of their small community. I want to know about the problems of all of our cousins because I know my problems aren't the worst. I got problems, I got bad problems, but they're not the worst. So I'm not going to be narcissistically focused on mine. I'm not going to engage in the narcissism given to me by history class, by billionaire crony Rockefellerians that need me to waste my life fighting with other people that ain't got no problems with me in groups because of groupthink. When you're in the group, you got the groupthink. And I just asked him, I just said, well, you know, where does money come from? So those are the questions I think about. And so I posted the question, is that Jasmine? I'm looking at live comments today. Is that Jasmine? And so I posted the question. I said, where does money come from? Because it's a deep question. Paul Hellyer asked that question. And Paul Hellyer, hell yeah, he asked that question for a good damn reason. And yes, that was one of the prime defense ministers of Canada, who is now, God rest his soul, moved on in 2021, tried to explain to the world, quit his job, that the world's governments all are very well aware that alien ships fly through here all the time. They've been grabbing those things since the 1940s, hiding technology from people that help them to cause problems with their navigational devices and crash. And they've been trying to reverse engineer them. So in ancient history, wherein we as humans saw very few UFOs, but when we did, the Romans would write them in their journals, the war journals coming home from war. Why? Well, because they needed to tell the Caesars everything. that happened in the war. That might be a weapon of the enemy. And so the soldiers would write down what they saw. Hundreds and thousands of soldiers writing down UFOs flying through the sky, stopping the battle, troops repositioning. But they saw very few. They saw very few UFOs to a point where they'd make them religions and they'd worship them. These are the gods coming out of the sky. You know, God got out and created fire right out of his hand. The bush just jumped on fire. No, dummy, that was an American with a cigarette lighter that landed out of a helicopter and tried to talk to the Sentinelese with a cigarette light, just technology. And so Paul Hellyer, which is what I love, is that, I mean, he was synced up with Stephen Greer on a root problem. The rootest problem that I can think of, I mean, as big as my head is, the rootest problem I can think of is the fact that everybody's enslaved and put in conflict with each other in a time where we don't have to. So now we see UFOs everywhere, and it should be obvious either aliens are coming here on a significantly higher percentage than the Hopis saw, and the Dogon saw, and the Aborigines saw, and everybody across the planet from the Greeks who called them Greek gods. In our Indian ancestors in India, not America, India. All written down in the Mahabharata. Why? Because this is important information that we need to pass on to the future generation, that gods are in the sky. And some of them land here and became kings. The Egyptians wrote about them. And now we see them everywhere. And so why would Paul Hellyer spend so much time talking about banking and UFOs? Because half the people don't want to talk about banking and finance because they hate math and mathematics, and they don't want to think about where money comes from, like most of Congress. And the other people don't want to talk about aliens. They couldn't possibly exist. Why? Because I'm too narcissistic to focus on math and finance. I'm too narcissistic to focus on aliens. I don't think there exists. I'm alone in the universe. I'm the greatest thing in the galaxy. My people, my humans, we're intelligent. Nothing else exists. But Paul Hellyer links the two together. And these are brothers I get down with, and sisters that are just deep enough because they're looking at root problems and they're connecting the dots. And so Paul Hellyer asked that question: where does money come from? And Jasmine answered the question in a smart A way, because she's from Vermont and it's too cold up there. So everybody in Vermont got to have smart answers to questions. She said the printer. I'm sorry. I was like, Jasmine, you're wrong. I wanted to say that. I couldn't. That's the first thing that jumped out of me, being smart. I said, but she's right. She's right. That's where the money comes from, the printers. I know, because as a child, while they were lying to me in history and Rockefellerian educational indoctrination system to give me an identity, to put me in conflict with people I don't know, we went to the Mint. The Mint was right in Washington, D.C. They took us down to the Mint. Oh, that's where money come from. Oh, little Gerard. Oh, I see. Come right off the printer. Okay. You know. And so most people actually really understand that. And so, Jasmine, when you said that, it's like, okay, that's like me saying, because I say it every day, they print the money. But it loses significance because we don't talk about who prints the money, why they print the money, who owns the money. Why do they only print enough to keep Black people in conflict with white people? Why do they only print enough to keep Christians stealing land from Muslims and Muslims trying to steal that land back from Christians? Why? Are the important questions, because everybody knows they print money. Everybody knows it comes from a printing press. But that's not the power question. That's not the root problem solving analysis of where money comes from. Where does money come from? I could give you the answers to the test, but I'm not going to. Because one, half of my friends already know, and the other half need to give a damn enough to look it up. We can make jokes and have fun all we want, but you need to be able to answer the questions as they come up and handle the people, the slaves, the clones, the Rockefellerians that don't understand the significance of the question. And the only way you'll do that is if you actually look it up yourself. So I'm not going to answer the question. Because as I drove through Rockefellerian world, I'd meet a few Rockefellers here and there, a few clones. And I know enough about the things that I talk about. I don't know every damn thing, but I know enough of the things I talk about that I can talk to you about it in a way that will make you be quiet, go away and look into it, or get mad as hell and call me, I don't know, nigger or something, come up with a name. Doggy smoke, jigaboo something, come up with something. You conspiracy theorist. I know enough because I actually research. I'm a geek. I'm a nerd. There's something wrong with me. I used to have a pocket protector with pens and ink stains, right? I like to look into things because I like to know how things work. I was the kid that took RC cars apart, right? I took apart toasters. My mother, oh, Lord Jesus, do you see what that boy is taking apart another toaster. And my father, who's an engineer, knew enough. Oh, Earl, let him do it. Let him do it. That boy's on to something. As I start looking to handle, like, no, he's only 4. He just wants to eat it. But we all have a role to play, right? That's mine. I'm an engineer. I'm an automation engineer, right? And so I'm providing that benefit to the family. Other stuff I have no idea. I don't know anything about. I don't know any idea, but I like to methodically break things down and understand the system. And when you understand the system, you can redesign it. You can hack it. You can fix it. You can end racism. You can end all isms. If you understand the system. If you don't break down the toaster, you ain't going to fix the toaster. If you don't have the instructions, and that's what the woman would say. Because women they don't like to waste their time. A whole lot of them. Some of them do. Some of them just like us. Because it's a whole spectrum, as Dave Chappelle tried to tell y'all last night, as he abused everybody. Oh my gosh, if y'all didn't watch that, you need to watch it. He done told everybody about themselves. I mean, the worst jokes that you could come up with, he just put them right in front of your face, which is good. And that's what we need to hear, which is why that video is going to get deleted. We got to get away from our ignorant identities being in conflict with each other, trying to control each other and tell each other how to live their lives, where you can put what, when you can put it, how you can put it, why you put it, and who we can bomb, who we should be stealing from, who we stealing land from. But Paul Hellyer had a brilliant mind before he died, right? Our greats are all in the cemetery. He was a great man, Paul Hellyer. Jacques Fresco was another great man in the cemetery. Martin Luther King was another great man in the cemetery. John Lennon was another great man in the cemetery. All the people who I have immense respect for, the people who I call teachers, they're all in the grave. This world has a way of killing those who actually start to understand the system and try to tell people how to resolve it. Martin Luther King was fine when he wanted Black people to stand up and march for the things that white people were doing in the country and the land and in the place that he was. He was fine. The system didn't care nothing about him. He was fine when he was fine with bombing kids in Vietnam for rubber plantations and to steal the resources of the land. The minute he figured out the system, and I forgot the guy's name, we used to talk about it a while ago, the lawyer who got James Earl Ray off, that the King family hired. I forgot his name. Dr. Pepper. That's what Dr. Pepper sounded like soda. Soda was in my mind, and that link to the neuron that said, his name is a soda. I was like, Mr. Pitt, Coca what? Like, no, that's cocaine. Dr. Pepper. I believe the story went, Dr. King was flying on an airplane. He sat by this guy named Dr. Pepper, and Dr. Pepper was a journalist, I think, at the time. And he wrote for a magazine, something like that. I'm probably jacking the whole story up. That's what I do. I try to focus on the things that matter for me in the moment. And he started reading into what we're doing to the kids in Vietnam. And he started looking at the way that they've been oppressing each other and how they're oppressed, and had an epiphany at the young age of 30, whatever 20 something, whatever he was, which is decades ahead of me. I'm only figuring this stuff out now, and I'm 29. Don't you hit that laugh button, damn it. Um, and that is, they treat us the same all over the world. Because when we're given an identity and we're put in conflict with other groups, mostly equal, it's an indefinite struggle that'll never end. And that's all the few need us, is to be in struggling. It's to constantly struggle, to be the rats in that wheel, just running and never stopping. That's how they stay in power, and they guarantee their kids and their grandkids will stay in power and be the lords and masters over your slave kids and grandkids. Running in that thing, fighting racism, fighting what ism you want to come with, fighting China, fighting the immigrants, running in that wheel for the entertainment of the few that don't want you to know you're in an aquarium called a state and a nation where they'd created the borders, and you're running in the wheel for their entertainment. You're not getting together with the other mice to break the aquarium, destroy the wheel, and go be free. So Martin Luther King was not fine when he started bringing in poor white college-age children who could grasp the concept, weren't indoctrinated enough to hate and to march. And that's why Martin Luther King was murdered. Martin Luther King was not murdered because he stood up for black people. Martin Luther King was murdered because he actually started to understand how the system worked. He started to actually take on the United States Incorporated, talking about having a constitutional convention and returning to the republic. And that's why they murdered him, according to Dr. Pepper, who he was someone he confided in later. And he had great conversations with that none of us will know, because the people in the Black Caucus killed him. The black preacher killed him. The black police officers, along with a few that had white skin as well, all worked together to end the life of this man who started to understand the system. Malcolm X, same thing. As long as he hated white people, standing up there with the machine gun in front of the window, posing by any means necessary, believed in violence. Us against y'all. We need to live separate in this nation. As long as he believed in the ignorance. Oh, he's fine. The system loved him. The few, the Rockefellerians, the Rothschildians, the Mellons and the Carnegians, the ones who created this false world, this false economy, this artificial scarcity economy, slave plantation. But the minute Martin Luther King realized that the Nation of Islam was bullshizzle, that the whole blacks against white was a scam, he said, we need to work with white folk to end this. They murdered him. Guy in Chicago. Somebody has to post his name because it escapes me. Same thing. So, and he was a Black Panther, under work with the white supremacists. And he actually met with them. Before that, the system loved him. Democrats and Republicans, they loved him. He was doing what they wanted. He was doing at a global scale what was needed. Backing up history, his stories, to make us ignorant slaves and clone zombies fighting for groups we have no affiliation with in any interesting way. Certainly not in any scientific way. Thank you, Brother Max. Boom, on it, Fred Hampton. And the minute he decided, how old was he? He was a teenager, wasn't he? I don't know, I could be wrong. But the minute he figured out this child didn't even have a frontal lobe yet. Fred Hampton was 20, he wasn't 26. He doesn't have what you have. You have a fully formed frontal lobe if you're 26. You're 25, you ain't figured nothing out yet. Just sit there and listen. He had critical thought. His brain was fully formed, or his brain was not fully formed, and he figured the system out. And the minute he did that, they murdered him. A system only responds to you when you actually threaten the system. If you don't threaten the actual problem, you don't threaten the system will love you. It'll give you $100 million, Black Lives Matter. It'll support your marches. It won't call them insurrections. It'll cheer and clap for them. It'll put you on stage. It'll help you create an ignorant corporation to help you rob and loot Africa. But you're black. You're standing up for the black. You're here to help black people. by murdering thousands a day in Africa to get the minerals. Because you're a corporation, because you have a bank account, and because all bank accounts are blood money and require murder. Because money is fake. Where does money come from? I want to answer the question. Because if you think about where it comes from, you'll think about and you'll look into why it exists and who owns it and what it does to us. So anyway, I'm back for Rockefellerian world. I survived it. I got so much work to do. And I love it. Because it's real work. Maybe I was depressed for 2 weeks. I don't know. I hated being there. I love the people. I love the Rockefellerians because it's my family, it's my friends, my kids. Hate being away from them. But when you know better, you got to do better. Right? When you're in Harriet Tubman, you can't say, oh, well, everybody I know's here, all my family's here, I'm gonna stay here. When you know better, you got to go away and prepare a place. You got to go away and do what you can to help people. And this is metaphorically, right? Y'all know that. I don't talk from a physical perspective. I do what I do because I know how to do those things, and I know I can succeed at doing those things. But you can go off grid in your own way. A lot of people stay on grid, right? But it's not really, a grid. You can't really get off grid. And in their own way, they take on the real problems, the system. So Paul Hellyer is one of those men. I listened to a good interview of him last night, and he went from free energy to the banking system and where money came from. And it completely, quite easily laid out our slave plantation. We call it Planet. All right. I'm going to do comments, and then I'm going to get to work. It just feels good. Feels good to be back in fresh air. It feels good to not be around people in mass. I'm sorry if you wear a mask and you didn't look into the science and you believe things that you saw on TV, but you're a part of an ecosystem. And if you actually ever separate yourself from that ecosystem, you're going to die. And it's going to suck how you die. Corporations hadn't figured out how to keep the human being alive in a corporate ecosystem, which is why Del Bigtree was so important from yesterday. It was so important to listen to who when there's a hot mic on, and they don't even actually know that we're going to hear that they actually don't do any testing on things that sound like the funk. Y'all ever heard P-Funk? There's something that they put in these injections that rhymes with P-Funk. Somebody can type it, but I can't say it. And they don't even test those things, nor do they even test the interaction of those things, but they increase reactions to things. And you don't have to be an engineer listening to that hot mic conversation to understand where autism, autoimmunity, and a lot of other diseases that people have came from. It's right there. The world's about to change, in my view, because everything that's being kept from people is being revealed to the people who are actually passionately give a damn enough to look it up. All right, I'm gonna do comments and I'm gonna roll. Whew. Feels good. Feels good. Think Tony, and a guy named Tony wrote a song about that. Actually, they probably didn't write the song because that's not how entertainment works. Not how Hollywood works. You're a friend of a friend of a friend. You go meet at a thing and they stick a thing in your thing. Or they take pictures of you sticking your thing in someone else's thing that you ain't supposed to be sticking them things in. And they own you for life. And then they write songs for you and give you movie scripts. And they know that you won't ever say anything in a popular, powerful position of being on television in the plantation that will actually empower the slaves in the plantation to do anything significant that will remove power from the few. Influencers. That's what Hollywood is. Why do they censor the people called influencers online? Same way they censor them in Hollywood. Social media allowed people who have critical brains and empathy and give a damn and passion became influencers. And they started influencing people because they actually cared about what was true. And now they need to have their pages deleted. They need to have their comments censored. They need to have their research put away, which explained the Facebook outage and Instagram and the other one that went down. Hollywood entertainers, actors, and singers are influencers. They can say something and influence millions of people in a way that will bring Rockefellerian world, crony world to an end. So they have to censor them. And the best way they censor in Hollywood and music industry and all that is preventing them from ever becoming influencers. And the few that make it through the gate, I have a good friend that made it through the gate. I know about 2 or 3 people, but one I consider just a real close sister of mine. She made it through the gate. She was popular all over the world. Cover of Vogue magazine, writing songs. Everybody knows her songs. Hit the top of Casey Kasem's charts. Beautiful, beautiful person on the inside and out. I guess she comes to mind because I was talking to her for a few hours. And not to tell anybody's business. So I'd be careful how I say things. Because she actually was a real person and she actually gained real influencing power, her videos and music were all over TV. Kids dancing and singing to them, adults. They had to make sure that they had control over her, right? They had to make sure that she was put in her place, to make sure that she would not influence anyone to be anti-war, pro-love. You know, you have to be, if you're in America and you're in Hollywood, you have to be pro-America, pro blow up other people and steal their resources, pro-white-black conflicts, pro-Christian Muslim conflicts. They don't care what side you're on. You just got to be pro. You can't be anti. You can't be anti the system that creates all these problems. And I talked for her hours at length. And she's in a different, you know, she's still in the fight, but she's in a different place in the fight because she did her part. She made it to the top, remained anti-war, said the right things in the right interviews that completely removed her from your viewing space. And it makes you really wonder when they call people these weird things. Yeah, you're a one-hit wonder. No, you actually are a very talented artist and you blew up the charts and you became popular and you were a real person. So they made sure that you either retired, you killed yourself, or you crashed in an airplane or your car crashed or you got cancer and died suddenly. Bob Marley, same thing. So I'm back from Rockefellerian world and I'm starting to feel good again, starting to feel like myself again. I think, and I don't know how to put it into words, so I'm not going to say much more on it. I am going to just read comments. I think that out here being free in the wild, I think I'm starting to find myself, my real self, not the indoctrinated bull that the school system created and the black people created and the Christians created. But I think I'm actually, and the Americans created. All the slaves, all those in the zombie apocalypse, the economic global zombie apocalypse, where every zombie has their team and then they go off to mindlessly eat each other's brains. I think I'm actually starting to find out who I am. I mean, I've always been an individual to a degree, but my body rejects everything about Rockefeller world now, except the solar panels and the charge controller. The stand that's holding my phone, and the coffee that the wine grows in Colombia is so delicious. All right, I'm done. Let me do some comments. So I missed y'all. We're back to normal. But you can't tell everybody what you're doing, when you're doing, why you're doing it. You gotta do your things. If people who were close to me, they knew what I was doing or why. They knew right off, and they started posting about it. You bastards. Nah, that's just people. It's like I said, it's flattering that people actually care enough about you that they recognize those things. And some people actually recognize when I'm not around, but you can't tell people what you're doing all the time. There are a lot of crazy people out there in Rockefeller. There's a lot of zombies out there do a lot of horrible things to you or what you're doing if they get access to when you'll not be around. I need to, people need to know that I'm here all the time. So in case you actually want to influence negatively what I'm trying to do to help a community and other people outside the community, I need to put some hot lead in your butt. If I'm not here, I can't do that, right? I'm always here. I ain't never gone. I ain't never gone. We need to go down there and kill his garden. He wants to feed people, bastard. He wants to help people and create online channels for yoga and cooking and how to grow food and how to automate things with open source circuitry and free technology type things. Oh, we got to stop him. I want to go out there and pee in his garden and break things up. No, come on out here when I'm here. I'm always here. And from a distance, I'm gonna put some hot lead in your booty. All right. But you need to watch the Dave Chappelle show. And I want to finish that thought as I'm going through comments. And that is, he won the cancel culture conflict. That to me is done. That's not even an argument no more. I mean, I didn't think it was an argument to begin with, but he really made them look horrible. 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 Because we have to be made look horrible. And he's a genius. Oh my God, just the artistic way he takes words, offends the hell out of everybody, pisses you off, and wraps you around in the end and shows you why you're foolish if you were pissed off at the things he said. We don't ever know nobody. We don't even know ourselves, you know, and to judge somebody else, to take away, the way he put it, to take away someone's livelihood because your identity is different from their identity and they spoke something that you don't like, those are grounds for you to change you. If you are ever so offended by somebody's words that come out of their mouth, there is something wrong with you. You need to fix you. And he took the story and he wrapped it all the way around in the end. And he showed them how murderously bloody they are. And he did it with jokes, which is really creepy and funny at the same time. But he wrapped it all. So I encourage you, go out there and watch that last Dave Chappelle special, because it's not going to be out there for long. And if he continues that route, he's not going to be here for long. Speaking about the system. But, and I know somebody's going to post because they already seen it. But in the beginning, Gerard, he was telling he's a branch Covidian. I'm gonna encourage you to think about this, because that's actually the part that got me too. I was like, oh, 90% of it I was enjoying, but the beginning, I was oh, I was like, dang, you're not cold, man. Listen to the words that come out of his mouth, and think about, would he be an influencer on a very influenceable platform, having a comedic skit where he said the most offensive things he could. And thank God he did. I mean, at least 8 of them, you're like, oh my God, he said that? This ain't the 1970s. We can't say this anymore. We self-censor exactly how the system tells us to. He talked both like a branch Covidian and somebody who wasn't in that cult. Listen to his words. But if he didn't pay homage, kiss the ring for the branch Covidians, if he didn't say what he said in the beginning, his special never would have went up, let alone come down in the next few hours or few days. Because he's demonstrating to the world the systematic problem with the world. And it might have been, maybe he's doing it. He doesn't even know he's doing it. I think he knows he's doing it. And I personally don't think he's a branch Covidian. I think he lied his butt off. And I think he did that because people wouldn't listen unless he did, which is why he artistically knew and engineered his skit to put that in the very beginning. So the majority of people, because the majority of people are branch Covidians right now, would not listen unless he had that in the beginning. And he took them all the way to the end and he showed them about themselves. He showed us all about ourselves. So hopefully y'all watch it. All right. Hey, Christine, good morning. Sweet home, Texas. Yep, that's where I am. Hey, Gerard, you are back home. So, Heather, you figured it out too. Hey, maybe I'm not as mysterious as I thought. Maybe a lot of people figured it out. Good morning, glad you're back. Oh my goodness, video's still freezing. Okay, it doesn't bother me. Okay, so that's yeah. So what I'm gonna do, and actually I got some good information, good news the other day. Yeah, last night, yesterday, something like that. I think I'm gonna go ahead and get the Elon Musk. So hopefully, as that happens, we won't have that video freezing stuff. Good morning, Andrea. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Desiree. Sweet home. Yep. Good morning. Good morning, Lily Kincaid. Good morning, Kai. She was a Freemason. Who was a Freemason? I don't know what I was talking about at the beginning, Kai. Um, but along with the thing that I have about identity, people don't like the Masons. Why don't they like the Masons? Because the Masons have power, and some of them a long time ago did some really bad things with Masonry. And the vast majority today don't have no clue why y'all hate the Masons. The problem with the Masons is power, not the Masons. Problem in Freemasonry, ain't nothing free about it. The same problem with the Masons, it being an identity, is the same problem with the Christians, the blacks, the whites, LGBTQ, the Chinese, the Americans, the Vietnamese, the Latin Americans, anyone who is here as a god and they take on the identity of a subhuman group is a problem. You know, not that they are the problem, but they are going along with a system of identity and economic conflict that's got to end. Oh, Harriet was a Freemason. Okay. Harriet had a V8. Yes. She was determined soul. Yes, she was. Everybody know that. Harriet Tubman had a V8. She had a Nissan Titan. She said, damn it, I'm going to get out of here. And that's why they ain't never catch it. Wise prophet once said, you got to know when to hold them and you got to know when to fold them. You got to know. If you don't know, then you ain't helping nobody, let alone your damn self. And Harriet had one. They lie about everything else. I can lie about Harriet all I want, as long as it's a good lie. At least my lies have good intent. Everybody lies. Just make sure that your lies have a good outcome. Good morning, Deanna. I love you. I love you too, Lily. You're always so sweet. Hello, Heather and all. Okay, let's get down. Let's get down to the comment. Everybody greeting each other. Everybody love each other. Just so loving. Max in the house. Lots of laughter. No. Thought I saw some movement. That's scientist. Yes, scientist. Yep, ain't no sign. If you ain't even testing to add your funks, get down with the funk. Gotta say it that way, because otherwise you're helping people. That's why Christ spoke in analogies. If you are standing behind people, injecting things in people, and they have no idea what happens when you put the P-funk with the other P-funk that you put in the thing to create a reaction, and you put 6 of them in a child, how they all react together. And they literally sat right there, the world's top scientists. Whoo, where the owl at? Whoo! Said, we have no effing idea what's going to happen. We don't test for it. The best thing you can do is, hey, shoot one in one arm and shoot it in the other arm, I guess. I don't know. You mean to tell me for 50 years you've been injecting things in babies and you don't know what the hell is going to happen? And you literally had the ignorance. Let's say you've only worked, with all that. You only worked for them for 20 years and you never thought it'd be a good idea to actually test for these things and what happens to people long term or short term. My God, what is wrong with us? And people are still branch Covidians. That's my goodness. Now, survival of the fittest never stop. And a lot of people have to die before they actually realize. Like, I'm trying to end it, but things are coming to mind. It's like this mandatory thing. Doesn't matter what it is. The minute you say mandatory, it's a problem. With me, we're going to do the mandatory. Stop right there. All right, I already know I'm going to be shooting your direction. If this blows up and y'all don't want to solve the world's problems with love and all of that stuff, I already know that we ain't going to be in the same foxhole. I know that. But no, you're not hearing me out. We got to do a mandatory. See, the minute you say that, you are at war with the human race. You're at war with too many of my other cousins. And if you start a war with them, I mean, I don't want to fight with the other side. Don't get me wrong. I have no interest in your little ignorant Rockefellerian conflicts. But I guarantee you, I will not be in a foxhole with you, because you are trying to tell someone else what. You're no different than the people that have been abusing women from the beginning of time. You're no different than the guy in a white t-shirt that's beating his wife every night. You're no different. You're no different than the child trafficker. You're no different from the child abuser. You philosophically believe in the same mandatory something over somebody's life as those bastards. You are in the same psychopathic dark energy cult that they are. You just have a different flavor. You wear different uniforms. You got a different name. You're abusing people for a different reason. Do you think that people abuse children because they don't have a reason to? Of course they do. It's just different than yours. And you're an abusive children. And that's a good thing about the current abusers is their flavor of abuse is obvious. You can go to almost any school in this country, the poor schools, not the rich ones. The rich ones figured it out a while ago, and they stopped abusing their children in the classes. It's the poor children that are still being abused. You are an abuser, and you support abuse. You know, you're not fighting slavery. You are a slaver, and you're supporting those who believe in slavery and who profit from it as politicians because they were lobbied to create more slaves and increase the plantation. Yeah, I'm getting upset. I don't like to get upset, but I do. Like I said, I'm all holstered at all times, only because I only really get upset until y'all are hurting like children or women or little weak men that ain't got no elbows or something. Little weak men without muscles and stuff. I don't like when y'all are bullies. I don't like bullies. I'm not a bully person. You know, my place has always been to deal with bullies, except for high school. That's too big then. Hell no. I was dealing with bullies in elementary school. I had a little meat on me. Middle school, but y'all started getting a little bit bigger. You know, then the bully started carrying guns in high school. It's like, yeah, I need to get out this game. This is not the game for me. No, bullies is okay. No, I never did that. I got pulled into stuff, but I didn't want to be in stuff. I'm not a violent person, but I never sit around and watch you do violence. And I get upset when I think about how you are helping the psychopathic few abuse all of these children all over this country. And all over the world. You know, make amends. You can stop anytime you want. You know, that's the good thing about the Branch Covidians. The only good thing about it, ain't nothing else good about them, is you can walk away from the cult anytime you want. You can lay down the road. You can actually read science and realize that, damn, these people are nuts. You mean to tell me they're not testing this stuff? And they've decided that you can't sue them? And they bribed the government? And people died, and they're making a thing mandatory who died from the thing? And that's the main issue with the word mandatory from a Branch Covidian perspective. I mean, the good thing, like I said, you can walk away anytime you want. You can take off the horns, stop drinking the chicken blood, and walk away. But if that thing killed one person, one child, one baby died because of it, one baby lost their life and ended up with autism, one baby just couldn't walk right. One baby just had a little bit of pain. You're evil and you're wrong. You're not a good person. You might be a good person inside. You might become a good person, but right now, you're not a good person. And you're doing bad things. Stop. All right. I'm feeling the feeling of coming home. Yes, I love being home too. Ooh, that sun is coming out. I'm about to start sweating. And that's the power of the sun. 2 hours ago, I was under 3 blankets. Oh, goodness gracious, it's cold out here. What the hell? Somebody left the air conditioner on. I was covered up and warm. And just 2 hours, that sun is up. We got to be close to 80 already. Hey, Jesse, a person has to come a long way to ruin my day. There you go. That's the right quote, because I jacked it up. And if you live in a spot of the plantation where Massa got to get out the rocker and get some of the white slaves and the black slaves over there that got the whips to come on out there and find you. That's a lot of effort and work. Massa don't want to do that. Massa wants to sit back and drink the hot tea and the cold tea from the slaves close to him. You know, you can see Boo Boo and Tink Tink and I need a good white name. What's a good white name? I don't know. John. No, I don't even know what that is. No, not Wilhelmina. I try to mix it up because people, they need to understand it has absolutely nothing to do with your identities anymore. We're all slaves. Got to find a good LGBTQ name, LaQuisha, you know, Mike. Massa, they're already working hard enough for him. He doesn't have to come out there and find Deanna. He's not even worth his time. Deanna can live free. She's far enough out. I can live free if I'm far enough out. They just want to make sure that the profits is rolling in the plantation. They got enough slaves working for them of all races, color, size. All the identities are backing Massa up, his system. So they're good to go. Then that's why they don't come out there yet. I mean, eventually they can come get you. Eventually, when they need to raise the profit, eventually they come get me. But in the meantime, if those of us who are moving out and checking out of this stuff, right, buying local, building communities, selling local, not engaging in the bullshit, or not watching the lying advertisement that we call news, just off grid and getting away from the currency system, using less of the money because we don't know where money comes from. We don't know who prints it, why they print it. When we go buy a car and money just comes out the air. Oh my God, that truck right over there, the one I just bought. Went to go buy it. Money just came out there. Only bought it because I had to. The platoon that's behind that truck that y'all know, that y'all seen, damn it, she 20 years old. I'd pushed her as long as I could, but she can't work out here. I engage in the system only when I have to, for the most part. And so I had to buy that truck. But that's what I did. I went and sat down. They looked at me and who I am. Are you a good Rockefellerian? Have you been producing debt? Have you been going into debt and going into more debt? So we have an excuse to create more fake money because that's what it is and that's what they do. I'm not going to give you, I almost gave you the answer to the test. I said I wasn't going to do that. Go look it up if it's important to you. If it's not important to you, then you can just be one here for entertainment and not know what everybody else is talking about. But they bring it out to air. I give you a hint. If you do what Massa says, Massa ain't gonna whip you. Massa will promote you and put a whip in your hand. Got a lot of money in the bank, making a lot of money, got a good job. You can buy everything that you want on credit. It means that you are a slave that's closest to Massa's heart. It means you are damn near, if not a house slave. You're doing all the things that the system needs you to maintain systematic slavery. But that's things that people got to look into. I think we got to stop telling people the answers because then it makes them lazy. And we all need to be critical thinkers where we all go do our own research. We come to our own conclusions and we come back together and like, oh, damn it, you looked at some things and I looked at things and we came back together. We're from different worlds and different identities and looked in different places, but we all came to the same conclusion. Oh, wow. Okay, then this probably is a solid solution. Good laugh. Love it. Yep, I love to laugh. You got to laugh. I believe the last 2 years, the world has gone really to a greater darkness. I think so, Christine, and it's a good thing, right? Because it has to get the darkest before the dawn. That's when it is darkest. The eye of the storm is when the storm is the most violent. And so it's a good thing that it got real dark. Now it's so dark that people actually can see the problems if they want to, and then we can fix the problems. I think personally, we're on the dawn of a new world. Good morning, fellow slaves. Good morning, Paul Jones. See, Paul knows what he's talking about. They quit teaching civics and turned it into social studies. So is that where civics went? Civics taught your Constitution theory and why and real history. Lynn, I won't go that far. I'm going to go with you on 98% of that. I'm going to stop and say, I don't think they taught real history. I think the real danger with civics isn't the Constitution. It's the principles of the Constitution, right? Because, Lynn, they get people with the whole founding father thing and they get, people all snot bubbled up over that. The Constitution, a racist document. The problem is the principle of human sovereignty. The Constitution was a flawed document. Personally, it's the best thing we got. So I'm not speaking dirty about the Constitution at all. Do a little few tweaks and it's fine. Anybody hating on the Constitution is a fool. The principle of the government is there to serve the people. Is one of the most profound pieces of thinking this world has ever seen. That human beings are here, and the things they create, government, system, all must serve them. That's why they hate the Constitution, and that's why they hate civics, and that's why they turned it into social studies, and now they turned it into what? Because you can see where the new thing is going: social studies. So studying the sociology of people when you put them in false identities and put them in conflict with each other. Critical race theory is another way to say that. Right? Giving people the idea that they are a thing, they're livestock, and then critically thinking through the side effect of the livestock instead of ending the farm. That's the whole purpose of critical race theory. It's the next step in social studies. It's not anything new. They've been doing it for a long time. You know, thank you for that. You actually just made me think of that, Lynn. I wasn't thinking about it, but they've been doing it for they critical race theory. That's not new. They're just relabeling it, and they're focusing on a certain flavor of the ism that the system needs to keep people fighting each other. Now it's time to get the heck out of large cities. This is true, Willow, and I hope you're on your way. Past time. It is well past time. You don't want to be around large groups of people because real bad, real dark things got to happen before the light comes. Enjoy and relax being back in the land. I wish I could, Christine. I got way too much to do, which is why I got to get off of here. Let me race through comments. I got way too much work, but it's not like slave work, right? It's not work for Rockefellerian great-great-grandkids and Rothschild's great-great-grandkids that never lift a finger in their life or their kids. Work I got to do is real work. You know, and so I love it. So it's not actually work, you know, and to a degree, it's enjoyable. Doesn't mean it's easy, but it's enjoyable. We have arrived. I agree, Christine. We arrived at a darker time. We need to get to the other side of this. Yeah, and we will, Heather. We're either going to get to the other side of it in a few days, a few months, a few years, a few decades, or a few more generations, or a few more pole shifts. We're going to get to the end of it. And when we get to that end, it's up to us. It's purely up to our ability to go back to being individuals and having individualistic critical thought instead of group think slaves. We could end this in hours if we wanted. We could be in the light in hours. It's all about reach. It's all about when we start reaching people who don't understand it because they haven't heard it in a way that it explained to them the system in a way that makes them passionate about actually finding the root problem to fix it. So I appreciate everybody sharing. And I know why some of y'all don't share, and that's fine too. I don't, I mean, I care and I don't care. It's like, we can go through the problems and some people will grasp it, some won't. But obviously the more information gets around, the more people say, oh, you know what? I finally get it. I heard it from somebody out there in the desert. I heard it from somebody with some black skin. I heard it from somebody with a bald head. I heard it from somebody that I didn't know. You'd be surprised what people will accept because they heard it said a different way from somebody other than you, because you're their friend. You know them, they know you. You couldn't possibly know something about banking that they don't know. Or fixing the world, because you ain't fixed nothing. You ain't even fixed your wife's sink. The plumbing in your house still doesn't work. How could you know where money comes from in central banking? How could you know it? You're a conspiracy theorist. Did you read that on the internet? Good morning, Ivana. All right. Hope you're doing well this morning. Admitting it, I had to watch 5 Ralph videos this morning. Ralph who? Citizen Dev? Ralph what? Ralph Tresvant? I'm thinking about music and hip hop because that's about pop music. Ralph Tresvant, I forgot what group was he with? New Edition or Boys to Men? Something I forgot. Isms are made for the distraction from the actual problem. Exactly, and that's what identities are. Identities. The isms come from the identity. The identity is to keep the system. So as long as you got an identity, you're doing everything that the system needs you to do to keep the systematic isms. Is exactly how it works, and they give you pride in it. So you'll fight emotionally for it because that's the only way they could break you. If you're here and you're still an identity person, that's the only reason they can break you. You're an intellectual. You got a critical thinking brain. You could do some amazing things if you actually thought for yourself. They can't have you do that. So they got to make you emotional. And the only way they could break you is to make you emotional. And so they indoctrinate you with these lies, these identity lies in history, giving you stories about the identities, the social studies, studying the sociology of groupthink groups and what they did to each other in the past when they had to, so that now in a time where we don't have to, we continue to kill each other. Oh, good googamugga. Oh, George. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. I thought that's not Beaufont. Never mind. I thought that was Bo. No, that's high-end hobo. No, that's Bo-ish. I'm sorry, I was reading your comments like you the other. No, that's not the white Bo. That's the brown Bo. Oh, so you decided to stop living in your car. I only live how long did I live in my car? I lived in my car for, well, it was a truck. I lived in my truck for I don't live not long. Few days, that's all. Few days. I quickly put up a structure of Barshmed, seeing how you're hiding your name. And I stayed in the structure. I didn't want to sleep out here with the rattlesnakes and other predators. I didn't know it was this wild till I actually got here and talked to the farmers, and they were like, "No, you like, yeah, I'm not too far. I'm right down the street, you know." And they're like, "No, you're not right down the street. You're behind my farm. And my farm is in the wild. My farm has mountain lions. I go out there with a gun anytime I go to my farm. My employees actually are always armed. We just killed 12 wild hogs out there that tried to kill us. Here are the pictures." You know, it's like, so no, your land is not there. Your land is behind there, dummy. So I got here, harsh bed, and I had my tent and everything. I was gonna put the tent up, and part of that story, as I told, I forgot how to put the damn tent up. The kids had some parts or something. They decided to keep at home or something. I don't know. They lost them. And so, yeah, no, I slept in the car a few days. I put a wood structure up very quick. I put up a wooden Rockefeller structure pretty quickly, so I wouldn't sleep out here and wake up in the middle of the night and, oh, Jesus, is that a coyote chewing on my toe? Yeah, that's not a good way to wake up. Nor is your mama calling you at 4 a.m. because she's getting a little older, doesn't realize that you're not on her time zone. I needed all my sleep. The video just got a little ranty. No, the video is always ranty. You know what? No, y'all know why it's ranty. Y'all know why I rant, don't you? Yeah, sometimes you got to say something 100 different ways before people process it. And like Jasmine, as an example, the people that know Jasmine can't say a damn thing to her friends and her family. Please, that's Jasmine. Jasmine, we know all the dumb things you done in your life. Okay, we every last one we did. Jasmine, don't do that. Jasmine, don't go in there. Jasmine, no, don't play with that. Jasmine, no, you better not date him. And then Jasmine decided to do it. And then they saw just the calamity and the tears and all the things that happened from that. And that's why your loved ones, they don't listen to you. Like, no, I know you. Oh, I know you. Okay, I know what you done did. And I helped you get out of it. You can't possibly teach me about where money comes from. No, because you the one that did the thing with the thing. You put the thing in the thing, and you know you wouldn't be supposed to be in that space anyway. Prophet is not sent to their own land. Prophet is not sent to their own land. Got to go out and find a place where you can roar, Jasmine. All right, let me see if I got a comment from everybody. Then I got to actually really get to work. Hey, who is this? Dimku Chris. Good morning. Good morning. Fiat money, baby. Yep, that's fiat money. You know, I have no problem with money, Max. Money is just a tool. But fiat money is a tool to enslave. And that's how they keep the world a global slave plantation. And if you answer the question, anybody said, the government prints the money, you're wrong. 100% wrong. All right. They ask for permission. All right. So continue doing research. Right. The reason they can keep fiat money, Max, is because people think that it's their government. It's not a corporation. And if you people that still got a government in this world, which are nobody within 3,000 miles of me, actually nobody within probably 6,000 miles of me, because we ensured that there were no real governments around. They were all corporations, because the corporations are beholden to money. And so that's why who the president is has less and less meaning the more it has meaning to you. Think about that and say that 8 times in your head. Right? The more people believe politicians are making decisions And the more people believe the politicians can save them, the more people believe the politicians are in control, the less control the politicians actually are allowed to have. And that's why that question is so critical. The politicians are the ones who keep up the fiat system. They are the ones who hold the whip. The whips look very different now. The whip's got the whip. It's not spelled the same, right? The whip used to be a piece of leather from a dead animal. Now the whip is spelled D-E-D-T. That's spelled right, Max? Yeah, I spelled it right. Damn it, I don't do that spelling stuff. It's spelled D-E-D-T, which is why every baby on this planet that's born, when they make it a human, according to Black's Law Dictionary, which technically is a monster, a thing that can't own anything, before they make you into that thing, which is so weird about this world and how contractually everything actually, it has to be done on consent. Something weird about this universe, Max. Everything has to be on you got to consent to become a monster that can't own any land and that actually isn't alive so they can abuse you the way they do. But the whip now on a slave plantation is spelled D-E-D-T. And as long as people keep increasing it, as long as people keep needing it, then the baby's born, they have it waiting for them to be smacked on them the minute they're turned into monsters and the parents create that birth certificate. So true, Gerard. All right, I gotta go. Ooh, wait a minute, wait. I was skipping Brownbow. I was skipping the Brownbow comments. But this looks like a good one. Hold on. Because he's talkative this morning. You drinking coffee? Or you feel guilty because you ain't been around here in a minute? Which one is it? Racism is used to distract us from the inherent power structure of the system itself, irregardless of the skin color and creed of those in position of power. Amen. And look at his skin. Look at his profile picture. Look just like me, don't he? Look like me with a different nose. It could be me. If he shaves his head, we'll look just alike. You won't be able to tell us apart. And he's telling you. And that's why you follow certain people. These are the friends that when people say things that offend you and it doesn't make any damn sense to you, you need to follow them. Those are people who are saying something. Those are people whose brain is thinking outside of the herd, the portion of the herd that they've been put in. But it is. All the isms are. It's not just racism, genderism, foodism, genitalism. Because now genitalism is a thing, right? You got the people fighting with the transgenders, them fighting them back, genderism. Again, and this is my perspective. The minute you say mandatory, I don't give a damn what you say next. I'm not on your side. I'll never be in a foxhole with you. And a lot of my close friends, they're still in that genderism thing. Woman can't have a penis. And that's a complete lie. Of course a woman can have a penis. Born every day. There are people who are closely have the DNA profile of a woman, which is everybody, but that's a little deeper than what most people like to go. We'll talk about post-birth, who are born with both a penis, a vagina, and testicles. So absolutely a woman can have a penis. No question about that. And that's why I don't get into that discussion, the whole transgender thing. I leave it alone. I'm ignorant of the whole thing. We all are. And so are they, the people in the conflict. Why? Because a lot of the parents decided for these people. And to me, I think it makes you an a-hole if you're ignorant of that and you're fighting with them. How do you know that they weren't born with a penis and their parents made that decision and never even told them? There was a doctor, oh my gosh, somebody posted something a while back, and there was a doctor who was talking about something crazy like almost 30% of the babies that he worked with. And it might just be location. I'm not saying that's global births or anything. It might be, maybe he worked in a town where, that industry that lobbies to pour pesticides in our rivers actually started helping create children with multiple genitals. I don't know. But let's use that as a scenario. He worked in Tupelo, Mississippi. This big corporation that used to go by Monsanto. Now they're a pharmaceutical company, which, makes actually perfectly good sense. Lobbied the government so they can keep pouring chemicals in the drinking water of Americans in Tupelo, Mississippi. And so they started having babies because somehow the glyphosate worked with some gene that made you have a penis, testicles, and a vagina. So you were abused by a chemical industry because you have politicians that take lobbyist money that guarantee making captive customers and poisoning the citizens of Tupelo, Mississippi. So this little innocent baby is born with a penis, vagina, and some testicles. And the parents decide, well, I want a boy. But really, they're a girl. So I want a boy. So we're going to take off the vagina and make this a boy. Because I always wanted to play football with my son. I wanted to throw a ball around. We're ignorant of that fact. The doctor knows because the doctor says, yeah, in the town I worked, 30% of the kids had both, and the parents chose which one they wanted to be, and we cut off the rest. And so that little boy grew up. Did I say it right? No, the little girl grew up as a boy, but knew something was wrong. Like, I'm not a boy. I don't like playing with balls, damn it. No, I don't want to play with the Jeep and shoot guns with you in the day in the lawn. Dad, that's stupid. One, it's not fun, and two, glyphosate's all over the lawn. It's a carcinogen. And the government just keeps taking money from corporations. They keep putting it on us. And then here you go, which is weird because, you know, it's not weird. I enjoyed the Dave Chappelle show, and the transgenders are the ones who have problems with Dave Chappelle. And they've been, but like, now I'm gonna say it the right way because that's the wrong way. There's no such thing as transgender. There are people who believe in an identity who are going after Dave Chappelle since he did his first specials. And they happen to be transgender. Don't put all transgender in that category. I mean, me personally, most people I know are actually very funny people. Very nice people. A little scared of them. I'm a little scared of them. Because I should be. You should be too. No, women are crazy. Why women? Why do I say women are crazy? I'm gonna go to the bottom comments because I want to finish this and get out of here. Why do I say women crazy as hell? Because they're matriarchs being raised in a patriarchal society. They don't fit in, and they're not supposed to fit in. So that's supposed to make them a little crazy. Some hide it better than others. That's all. Just don't marry one that's hiding it too well, because you're gonna see it. You mess up the rice. And they spent their entire life being something God did not intend them to be. I said it that way for a reason. I'm not sure I know what God is, but if you were born to be a thing, if you are a thing and you're forced to live as something else, it's going to make you a little crazy. It's going to make you you're going to have a little attitude. So I understand them going after Dave Chappelle, and I understand how the end of his show ended up. That should have evolved many who were targeting him to realize the ignorance in what they were doing. And hopefully what I just said helped some people here realize the ignorance in attacking a child of God because you're ignorant of how they were born. And we're ignorant of this world, and we're ignorant of gender, and we're ignorant of the effects of chemicals and 5Gs and all of this on babies. How evil do you have to be to go after somebody that had no choice in what they became? And that's not a fight for transgender. It's not a fight for gay. It's not a fight for any of the LGBTQ. It's not a fight for women. It's not a fight for the black. It's not a fight for the poor white. It's an understanding that we live in ignorance. And the system is supported in the ignorance of the people that are actually acting like they're fighting the system. All right. That was so deep, I got to go. I got to get out of here, y'all. Listen, it's a learning thing. You know, just try to align yourself best as you can with people who are actually learning. You understand that? If you think I'm learning, if you see me making mistakes and I'm like, oh, damn it, I screwed up. I was wrong, y'all. Don't do it. No, don't go left. Run right. I was wrong. I try to, anytime I see something as a mistake, anything stupid I said or did, and I try to tell people, don't do that. Don't do that. Y'all my cousins. I don't want y'all to step in the same hole I did. I get bit by a snake. I'm going to say, oh, no, don't do that. I'm not here to be right. I don't want y'all to think I'm right about anything. I'm not narcissistic, nor do I want People following me. I want people following because that's the name of the button. Damn it, send me a friend request if you disagree with anything I said. If you agree with everything, then there's no reason for us to be friends. There's nothing I got to learn from you. Unless you got good memes, then we should be friends. No masters and no followers. And when I say that, I mean that. I don't let people follow. It's not that I don't want people following me. I don't let you follow me. I turn around, I see somebody behind me, I'm gonna kick you. What did Jesus say? Jesus said, wipe this dust from your feet and keep walking. I'm gonna wipe all this dust right here in your face. Don't follow me, because then you're gonna fall in the same holes I fall in. That's stupid. Go your own way. Go your own way. Oh, look, last comment. Susan came in the house. Making a joke or not accepting someone else is not attacking. See, and this is why I want everybody to watch the Dave Chappelle episode. Susan understands that. And Susan was raised, it's probably something about the child that was raised in the 70s and the 80s that we were able to see things at the critical point of ignorance where they became making a joke is somehow means you hate the person. It's all about intent. You can make a joke because you think our circumstances are funny, usually, and you can tell people who actually make a joke about their circumstances and they think their circumstances are funny, that they're not taking this artificial matrix seriously. And laughing about every portion of it is very important. Not at the people, but the circumstance. It's ridiculous that you have children walking around here who are more men than women, but they got vaginas. It's ridiculous that we got people walking around here that are more this or that. It's ridiculous that we got women walking around in a patriarchal society where they got to act like us, but they're matriarchs. It's ridiculous that we're walking around in society and everybody's got to believe in your drug system, your synthetic drugs, and inject it in them, or they're not allowed to be in the society that they built. You got to laugh at that. How can you not laugh at that? Because when we laugh more at everything ridiculous, then everything ridiculous has to go away. So to me, yes, always about intent. Is it ridiculous or are you attacking the person? And it just in me in general, very few people I see making jokes, I think, are about certain topics, I think have any hate in their heart. Because I don't really keep people got hate in their heart around me. I push them out. I push them out at a distance. If we can laugh at every portion, and so the best way I'll put it, Susan, to folks, is when you see somebody laughing at their own ridiculousness, and you see somebody attacking their own ridiculous, and you see somebody like, this is effed up, people. What are we doing? It's not a person that's attacking you, and that was the point that Dave Chappelle was making. I make jokes about you because I love you. If I don't love you, that's when I'm gonna stop making jokes. When I mean you harm, that's when the jokes are going to stop. And that's why he is such a freaking genius when it comes to comedy. He is a master of his craft. He's somehow navigated the bullshizzle and beat cancel culture in a society where people are indoctrinated to be narcissistically ignorant enough to agree with canceling somebody's culture because they're bigots. That's what we are. We're all birth bigots. And he somehow turns it into an enjoyable, entertaining show after offending everybody, including himself. If you know who Dave Chappelle is before y'all started attacking him, he was attacking us for chicken. That man was coming after us for watermelons and chickens and all this stuff, every little stereotype. I didn't eat chicken. I did it at that time I did, but now I don't. And we could have canceled his culture. But thank God, a lot of us back then knew Dave Chappelle was not a sellout. He was just a funny man. And thank God he evolved into a funny man that's so freaking funny. And he mastered it. See, if we canceled Dave Chappelle in the beginning, we wouldn't have this primer that's bringing so many people together to have a great time and laugh together about the ridiculousness of this system. So absolutely, Susan, it absolutely, comedy is the key. Comedy is the key, and not finding offense or not looking for offense. Maybe that's the other side of it, of how that works. When you see something, is it funny? If it's funny, then laugh. If you see offense in it, but you see the person making jokes about everyone, the entire Rockefellerian world system, then the problem is you, not their joke. So anyway, I'm going to end on that. And what Jasmine said a moment ago, the effery. It is effery. Phu. I'm going to spell it before I say it. Phuckery, the fuckery. And that's what it is. Goodness gracious, I can't believe I'm in this way. All right. With the PH word. The system fucks with you. And it makes you engage in fuckery. Because as Tony Smith says, it thinks you're a dumb fuck. And it's right. Question is, do we want to remain a part of the PHUCK system where we PHUCK each other over and over and over in groups, numbers, based in gender, race, and all the identity, all the ignorant things we're given in social study, critical race theory, which is no different than critical transgender theory, which is no different than critical white theory, which is no different than critical Christian theory. We're either going to fight the fuckery system or we're just going to keep being dumb fucks. It's really up to us. I'm so indoctrinated as a Christian, I don't feel right. I don't feel right. Then my father's going to come around the corner and beat me. We got to stop being dumb PHUCKers. Listen,